Welcome to 23 Degrees Sideways, Coyote in the Highlands. You can see I've still got a blue tarp behind me. I'm working on the canvas, but it appears that canvas tarps, actual tarps, are not in stock locally. You can get them various places, they're just not around. So I have some canvas drop cloths. It's a little bit of a lighter weight fabric, but I'm going to put some grommets in, put some seams in, and make the actual custom size I need, so that'll work out pretty well. I'm surprised actually that this tarp, which was sitting out for a while covering stuff, is still holding up despite all the wind. I've done a really good job of adding grommets and holding it down, so maybe I'm doing a good job. I want to talk about boredom. So, let's talk about boredom. Are you bored? I'm so bored. Man, I'm bored. Man, this is boring. Boredom comes from inside of you. It could be a signal that things aren't going right. It could be a signal that you need to move around. But mostly it's an emotion. It is an emotion. It comes from the mind. It could be kinesthetic. It can come from the body. So we're going to have to divide that up a little bit and talk about this in a broad sense. Boredom is kin to frustration, okay? They're emotions. And being emotions, they are under your control, okay? When you say that a music or a movie or a situation is boring, that's inside of you. That's not that the situation is boring. It's that you have expressed an emotion of boredom. And there's a couple possible reasons for that. But the big thing is to remember that you are in charge of your emotions and you can control. And this is one of the big ones, probably one of the easier ones to control. It's very much an in-the-moment kind of thing. In fact, being in the moment is how you get rid of it in some sense. Boredom is a state. Boredom isn't like... So sadness, when you're sad, there's a loss, there's a worry, there's a past, there's a future, okay? You're either what they call ruminating about the past, feeling sorrow, feeling loss, or you're worrying about the future. This is what makes you sad, right? Happiness is quite often in the moment, and when you start to identify and quantify and analyze and deal with the happiness, then you remove yourself from it, and you're no longer in the moment, you're no longer really feeling happy, you're discussing happiness, or thinking about happiness, There's that joy in the moment is different from thinking about happiness. Boredom is one of those things that is kind of crosses that bridge, because boredom can be a emotion that signifies that you're not in the present. I wish I was doing this. I wish I was doing that. I wish I was driving home. I wish I was at a ball game. I wish I was at a concert. Well, this is boring. I wish. That means that you're not engaged in the present moment. But boredom is also, at the same time, a very in-the-moment emotion. It's a very, I am here right now and I don't want to be. You are trying to escape the moment. That's one of the keys to boredom. And there's a couple different things here that are going on. So not all of these descriptions are going to apply to every case of boredom or frustration. But they're very closely related, boredom and frustration. But boredom is very much in your control. One of the things to alleviate boredom, of course, is to accept where you are, when you are, be here now. Be here now. Be here now. What you are doing. If it's not the right thing, leave. Poof. That's great. Right action is one of those things that really is going to rule this, okay? It's very important. But boredom is an emotional... It's an emotion, but it's a reaction, okay? And it's a very big clue that either you aren't accepting the reality, you're fighting the reality that you're in, but you're still there, you're recognizing it, and that's why you're resisting it, or you are doing the wrong thing. Now, figuring out which of these is the case, that takes a little bit of wisdom, intuition, experience with right action. Go for it. It's life. Play with it, Figure it out. But the easiest way to conquer boredom, of course, is to decide not to be bored. Be engaged in the moment. Be engaged with what you're doing. Now, there's a lot of ego and mind in there. The monkey mind wants to do its things, its programs. Now, it's programmed to help you. It thinks it's helping you, okay? Quite often it's not. But it's programmed by what it sees as your desires. This is one of the reasons why negative people get negative lives, is because the mind follows the programming that you put into it. Garbage in, garbage out. Remember that old 1980s, 90s cybernetic theory of mind? There's aspects to that that are actually kind of cool. So your mind may be running a program that you don't want to be here, that you're bored and stuff, but just slow down, stop, take that breath, relax, release the frustration, release the boredom, be in the moment, and see what's there. Maybe it's not so boring. Maybe it's not so boring if you let go of the ego. Maybe the boredom is a defensive reaction to not wanting to accept something, not wanting to enjoy something. We get very polarized in the West right now with the culture wars, and this is on purpose. The media and the governments and the global powers and the corporatists are all engaged in trying to make us divided and inattentive and unaware and distracted. And the best way to distract people is with outrage. So you could be a conservative at a music festival because of a date, right? She's got really big titties, right? Ooh! But you went to the Strawberry Music Festival and it's hippies everywhere and you are so bored. Well, you're refusing to engage, and your ego doesn't want you to engage because you don't want to identify with these people as humans and partners in your life and all of that, because then what do you do with your outrage? Oh no, it goes away. And you're programmed to have that as part of your identity. Same thing on the other side. You're a hippie out in the desert and there's some dudes doing long-range shooting, so you're like, just accept it. Open up, accept it, maybe do some target shooting. Wow, this is fun. These are real people. They're actually cool. This kind of stuff. These are actual examples. Okay, these are not made up examples. I have been involved in both of these situations. Naked hippies in the desert, no less. And yeah, the Strawberry Music Festival is quite a thing. I used to help put on, and organize a different music festival in Davis, California, and we had the same kind of thing. You had to integrate there because to get anything done, you needed to have some of those conservative veteran people to actually get the hippies to stop smoking a bowl and set up the stage. That's just one of those things, hurting hippies. But, you all come together and it all works out very well. And you stop being bored if you let a little bit of that ego programming go. Anyway, boredom. Back to boredom. Boredom is a situation or an emotion where you are in a situation where you don't want to be present in the moment. Get a little stoic here, okay? It is exactly what it is, where it is, when it is, which is here and now. So accept it. Live it. Just, you can change it if you accept it. If you get engaged, you can change it. And if it ends up being something that you realize is wrong, it's the wrong thing, it's not right action for you, boredom can be a signal for that, okay? It's not that it's necessarily a bad emotion, but it's a useless emotion once it's recognized. It can be a signal. Hey, I'm not in the moment. Hey, I'm not doing the right thing. Hey, right action says do something else. Hey, my intuition says do something else. Hey, my soul says do something else. Signal. It's a signifier emotion. So look at it and see what it is. And if you don't know, get yourself in the moment. Get rid of the boredom, get yourself into the moment, and then see if it's right. See if it actually feels like you need to leave. Listen to yourself. And if it's time to go, go. If it's time to go outside because you're with somebody and you're not driving your own car and whatever, go outside. Disengage. But the main point here is to just first realize that boredom is an emotion and you have control over it. It's a signaling emotion, but it's yours and you have control over it. It does not come from the situation. It comes from inside of you and your response to the information, to the situation. Okay? It comes from inside you and your response to the situation and the information. Of course, that actually makes sense. So, don't be bored and stay sideways.